What's going on, everybody? Look, I want to talk to y'all about depression. Because this is something that I have struggled with, and I know that there's a way to defeat it. Overcoming and defeating depression. Some of the leading causes of depression they can vary. From stressful life events, whether it's a death in the family, divorce. You might be going through unemployment, or other traumas like that, and to disconnect from something that your life has been tied to for a great period of time, that can be very traumatic and set in depression, But to overcome that is what we want to do. That's what we're walking into, is overcoming that depression. Um, for instance, divorce. Um, or rather, I'd say I've never been married, so I can't speak on divorce to that degree. But I will say unemployment, and deaths in the family. Those are things that I have known all too well. And finding myself um, the positive aspect of me without those attachments, the financial from the job, the friend that I had for so many years that I could always go to and call them. Not having them really changed things for me. And I had to learn how to be open to new friends. You want to be open to new friends, You can't feel like it's the end of the world because of a job loss. It's definitely a different change of time for you, but there are other jobs to be had. You have to lose that attachment to that one particular job. It's another chapter of life. The transition isn't the easiest, but it is time for another one, because you're still on this earth, you're still living, and it's very important that you get to a good place mentally, And some of the other things that can onset depression are family history. Sometimes you may have a family member or two who have suffered with things like bipolar disorder or schizophrenia, different things like that may run in the family. And when you have a mental disorder that sets you apart from people, it gives a pretty heavy stigma to have to live through, as if sometimes this world doesn't seem to want to make room for people who are different, And one of the things that I would say is very important in defeating and overcoming depression when it comes to a mental illness is the same way you would want others to be, to leave you room to be who you are, you also have to give yourself room to be who you are. That is so important. You know, Oftentimes we can be our worst critic. And, if it's an illness that we deal with, we often tend to look at ourselves as um, our own problem, and it's not good to look at yourself as a problem. You want to know that you are who you are. You were made by your creator. Nothing in this world is perfect. Some things are more common, but you may not fit the bill of being common. You're exceptional in whichever way. And it just takes a level of mastery to receive yourself, to not be overbearing on yourself for not being as common as the next person. But you must love yourself, and that can be a learning process, very much. It's a learning process, you know. Um, things like substance abuse um, oftentimes can be a issue that can lead to depression, alcoholism, or other drugs, whether it's the numbing effect you're looking for to take the pain out or to just escape life, or something that might have started as a fun kick, and it ended up becoming something that was very weighty, altering your life. Um, and to be able to see yourself free from those things, to be able to live life in a vivid, colorful way without having to have the drink, without having to have the other drug influencers in your life, is a area that you want to grow in, and being patient is one of the things you have to do, in overcoming this. It sometimes it may not take long to get into a depressed state, uh, and coming out of it may take a little bit more time than you would care for it to take, but you're still alive, you're still living. We're not quitting, we're not giving up. So we're going to improve every day that we're alive, you know, and you want to visualize yourself being free from the alcohol. What would I be doing? Where would I go? And sometimes you have to build that imagination to get yourself to a better place. You want to start to see it in your mind's eye. See yourself doing something you enjoy. It may have been a long time since you have been able to enjoy things other than the escapes, but that's one of the things we have to do, and to be able to see yourself without the alcohol, without the other drugs, doing some other things, actually enjoying other things in life. Um, it's a bit of an exercise, but it's a very worthwhile one. Trust me, I know. There are some days that may be better than others, but I'm moving forward myself. I'm moving forward. I'm overcoming and I'm defeating. Medical problems. There are people. Some of you may experience chronic pain, or if you've dealt with cancer, or a stroke. We know that those things, they change life drastically. You may now need the help of another person. The pain that's can be involved in that. Um, there's so many different things that can come with that. And life was never designed to be perfect. So we might ask, well, how do you deal with these low places? And I would say that the main thing is going to be to grab a hold of your mind. It's imperative that you grab a hold of your mind, because that is actually where you determine the severity of a thing. Some of the biggest success stories of public figures have gone through crazy adversities, and they just decided they were going to turn the adversity into momentum. And that's a very masterful way to do things, because when things challenge you on your level, it can seem like you cannot defeat it, but that's not true. It's not true. You just have to exert yourself in the right areas. You don't want to deplete yourself with the attachment to that negative feeling or to this thing that looks to want to rob you of your desire to live, but rather you have to look at what is living. You may not be able to do some of the things you could do before, but you still must say, okay, well, where can I touch life? Where can I touch life? And be willing to touch life in that area. Life is about a fight, And you have to sometimes learn how to fight as you're in the fight, you know, and that is not a comfortable feeling. As you know, it's not a comfortable feeling, but it's what we have to do, you know, and we're going to fight together. I'm here with you, you know, and we're going to do this together. I've needed friends and some that I can go to, and I'm sure you do too. And together we're going to keep on moving forward.